Camera's ready. Martin's ready. Filippo's ready.
Yes.
And Real Madrid are ready. They're playing in the Copa del Rey tonight.
Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year to everybody. They're playing in the Copa del Rey tonight, and they're putting out their strongest side, and they didn't in La Liga at the weekend.
Because
They've given up on the La Liga. So at the halfway stage of the season, when they've played everybody once, it's up to us to make a judgment on what they've been like in La Liga.
A disaster.
So what have they been? A disaster.
Yeah.
Is it that simple?
Last year they ended the first half of the season +5 on Barcelona. Now they're 18 points adrift and 7 behind Atletico Madrid.
Guys,
well, is that in a way isn't that the best statistic? The statistic isn't how far off Barcelona they are. The statistic is that they're miles behind Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, exactly.
And they are far from the way they performed last year.
Yeah,
but I think we have to ask ourselves,
do you think
why?
they're performing much differently from last year?
Yes,
Do you?
I think
Definitely.
I think there are certain similarities. I think the effectiveness has changed. I think the performances have changed, but I think the key thing has been the effectiveness.
They're lacking.
obviously they're not winning games. They lost 4 and drew 4. Last year they lost 2.
I think there are many factors. One, they're playing much more worse than last year. They are not in a good, how do you say it?
In Spanish.
No, animo.
Not in a good frame of mind.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't understand each other. They don't talk to each
exactly.
other. They don't feel they have the winning cycle. And then, what we've been talking 2 months ago, and from then on, I think the key is that game against Manchester City when Sergio Ramos played with Ozil t-shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the beginning of knowing that something was really wrong in the locker room.
There are inside the team, the relationship between the chairman and the manager is not the one it was before. They are booing at the Bernabeu. They're whistling.
We started the season in the mix zone with Ronaldo saying he was sad.
Yeah,
yes.
That was the beginning of the season.
Exactly.
How can you start the season?
That was the starting.
Losing games and then having players talking like that in the mix zone.
And
now he's happy, but Real Madrid is not.
Well, and the whole key of this really is that we're talking about Jose Mourinho, a manager who's always defined himself by the ability to create a good dressing room atmosphere.
Great
and
relationships.
here he's failed to do that.
Yeah.
Now,
Why?
whether his fault or not is another issue, but he's failed to do it. Why has he done it? Well, I think because Spain's different.
Yes.
The Spanish league's different. Spanish players are different, particularly Spanish players
Spanish
who've won the
football.
World Cup. And not only won the World Cup, but won the World Cup playing a different style of football, and with those guys from that other club.
That he wanted them to hate.
Exactly.
I have another question. Will he be able to change everything upside down and win
For
the
the Champions League, very difficult for me.
Well, look, if Chelsea can win the Champions League, Real Madrid can win the Champions League.
But
because
we have
these
1
players,
month.
but these players are good enough and ambitious enough that the cracks will still be there, but they can be papered
But
over.
they
This team
believe
can play-
they will
play-
sign the contract. We follow with you.
No.
They don't need to necessarily follow him.
Yeah,
They
I
need to
don't know.
believe. They don't necessarily need to follow him. They need to believe that okay, we'll go this way because we can make it happen.
Yeah.
7th, 8th, 9th European Cup, Real Madrid were disastrous in the league in all of those seasons.
Yeah, these are the examples. Other times, dressing room was broken and the team gelled to stay together and win something. But this year it looks very difficult.
I think it is difficult, but I think it's
the
possible.
supporters are not there anymore.
No,
But the supporters will be turned around by a couple of good
obviously,
results.
Yeah, but let's see how we get to the Manchester United
well,
game.
if they beat Manchester United here and play well, the supporters will be on their side.
You know what worries me?
Yeah, but we have to
worries
get
me?
there.
The response, the football response that these players are having on the pitch. That's worrying.
There's no
because
football at the moment. There's no
football at all.
Yeah, you see that, and also the decision to drop Casillas is the wrong way. He's taking wrong decisions.
But I must say, one thing I will say in Mourinho's defence about the Casillas thing is the reaction to it was wrong as well. A coach has to be allowed to drop his players.
But
whoever
Adan-
they are.
Adan
is not a better keeper.
And it has to be about why he does it as well.
Exactly.
That's
It
true.
was not the moment.
But
And
that's
also Adan is not
another
a keeper,
factor
and he's a
that's
young
against
guy.
Malaga.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
one of the-
he destroyed him. So I think he's also when he picks on journalists and then on the. I think he's not getting it right.
I actually think
The
he's lost
strategy,
control. I think he's
exactly.
lost
The
control.
strategy is wrong, and he's a great stratega, as we say.
Yes.
So I don't know.
And he's not getting it right. That's the bottom line. Is he's not getting it right. If we analyse Mourinho's decision in terms of the football, let's take for example the decision to drop Casillas to play Adan. Let's analyse it purely in terms of the football.
Yeah.
None of the other
It's
moral
wrong.
questions.
Okay,
It's purely in terms of football. Hang on, first game, Adan lets in 3 goals and they lose. Okay, doesn't look too good. Second game, 5 minutes Adan gives away a penalty and gets sent off. So if we analyse it purely in terms of football,
He's doing like that, he's getting Italian.
Italiano. Madre
No,
mia.
don't. Okay, the last
Porca miseria.
Yeah, that's 10 seconds.
If there is a group with a lot of power in the locker room, what Mourinho has to do is coming to terms with this group.
Yeah.
And he's putting himself.
This is the key.
He's putting himself in front of the club. That's the
If
problem.
there is a gentleman agreement, they can win the Champions League. But I don't think there will be
Thank you very
this
much.
kind
Is
of.
that your gentleman's agreement?
Yeah.
El biscotto! El biscotto!
Ciao cari.